Come on into another episode of Game Runs Deep and Talk of Champions. I'm Sudo Upadea. That is Ben Garrett, who is, he's been on one since he called me at 9 a.m. Eastern time this morning.
True.
I love the energy, man. I love the energy this morning. You were rapping. I forgot what you were rapping to me this morning. You just popped on here. You were spitting more bars. You've had an early morning, I'm assuming. I haven't seen you with this much energy that early in the morning in a minute, dude.
I don't have any energy. I feel like the older I get, the more is it what's the where you fall asleep here? Is that narcolepsy? Is that what that is?
I think it's being narcoleptic, right?
Narcoleptic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think in my age 40 year, it doesn't matter if I'm well rested. It doesn't matter if I went to bed at 9, 10 o'clock, woke up, full, all that kind of stuff. None of that matters. I still am tired. I'm still very tired. And Storm Summit wants to hear the rap was just very simple. Every morning, I encourage all of you to, if you're really wondering, like, man, mornings suck for me. What do? Well, take it from somebody who sucks in the morning. Phrasing. Who hates the morning, who's not good in the morning.
Yikes. This is the second straight week, Ben. People are going to start thinking you're doing this on purpose.
And to be honest with you,
will you hold up your caffeine of choice here?
Diet Pepsi.
I did not ever know that you were a Pepsi guy. I'm not. Okay, I'm a Pepsi Zero guy. I love Coke Zero to death, but God, Pepsi Zero, man. That stuff hits.
My wife has put me on. I blame her. I blame her for me going to sleep. She's always tired. Her neck's always hurting. And now all of those things are me. Me. So, like, I appreciate that I can hide it pretty well, but all those things like, oh, I got to do this or this because I'm an old man. But to kind of change it up, all right, and that is what she said. I suck in the morning. To change it up, I would encourage you, play music in the morning. I like to start with the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir. All right.
Okay.
Psalm 34 gets me fired up. Remember to think about your salvation this morning. It's the secret of life, man. When you're wondering, man, I don't want to do a podcast and I don't know what to talk about. Gracie's got to get braces this morning. Remember your salvation.
Now, I know damn well you didn't say I don't want to do a podcast. This is the highlight of our weeks.
And then when you're done praising, as you should, giving it to God, then turn around and cut on some of your favorite music. So for me, I started out a long way of saying, because somebody got in a chat yesterday and said, Ben, you talk too much. I mean, I hear it all the time, and it's true. So I go over. So what I start with is, I don't know, like some old 2000s to like 2015-ish. Today was, I'm going to buy you a drink. Ooh. I'm gonna take you home with me.
Take you home with me.
In the bank.
Yep.
What you think about that? I don't have a beautiful, shiny Cadillac. I have an 04 BRT, big red truck, but I was dropping that T-Pain, my guy, some T-Peasy. And the thing is, T-Pain brought all that auto-tune that I hate, but I'm not gonna lie. Have you ever heard the man sing natural? It's pretty sick.
Yeah. I was talking to someone about this recently. It was back in the day when I was in elementary school. When T-Pain started popping off, there was this big discussion on like, he's not a real singer, he's not a real artist. Now auto-tune is like, it's just a guarantee, in almost any legit art. And then we heard T-Pain actually sing. We're like, yeah, he can actually sing. Also, it's not that easy. Like, people used to think that auto-tune was just like terrible vocals and it just fixed it for you. That's not how that works. Like, you still have to be able to do it unless you have a really good engineer that can manipulate every single note where it needs to go. It's not just like you sing into the mic and it just fixes it for you. I don't understand why.
But it can dramatically alter how someone sounds and makes them sound better than they actually are. Like, for example, Britney Spears. But here's the thing with Britney Spears. I went to see Britney Spears. The wife and I went to see Britney Spears in Vegas. It was years ago now. She didn't sing a single word.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single word. But when I tell you, while she doesn't have her fastball anymore, that curveball is still filthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's still filthy. And, man, when she, like, every single one of them, even though she's lip syncing it, it was an absolute killer show. And so auto-tune, I'm not knocking auto-tune. I'm just simply saying there is a place, just like Chat GPT, AI, and all that stuff. There's a place, but if it's like writing your stuff for you, you got a problem. You know what I mean? If you're using it as a tool, so if auto-tune can be used as a tool, Yeah, I'm all for it. All right, so that's been the morning. That's why I'm hyped. That's why I'm kind of on edge. Also, this Deuce stuff. This Deuce McAllister. This Mark Canapa. What did Deuce say? Well, first, here's the original tweet. All right, well, let's just do the screen share. He's already kind of addressed this, and I want to address something I talked about yesterday. He did the whole just different, took a picture with Lane, his son, who is a recruitable athlete, a wide receiver, like 6'4" already, wanted by most everybody, went on a junior day trip to LSU. Deuce took a picture, hashtag just different. He comes out today. It says, quite the start I calls there. Probably not the best phrase to use in that instance, and that's on me. My loyalty, love, memories, that won't change. Won't. That won't change. I'm correcting that there. Ever, hashtag hottie toddy. Look, Deuce McAllister is always going to have, like, he is an Ole Miss guy through and through. I said that yesterday on the podcast. Deuce McAllister is a friend. He's one of the greatest Ole Miss Rebels of all time. I texted him on the show yesterday. Let me make something very crystal clear. I don't know why he made the post that he did. We tried to break it down yesterday. So for anyone that might be taking pieces of what we were discussing in regards to what could have led to him to put the just different piece, because the picture's not the problem. The like, take a picture with Lane, like, it's your business, but the just different kind of put it over the top. And without including his son in the picture, there was just questions of, like, what was the intent? If it was just to cause a viral moment, well, friend, you succeeded. So to anyone that might think that that doesn't know the difference between just considering and or just talking about something and reporting, I don't know what was the motivation behind that. But, like, I take Deuce, who I know personally, he's a friend. I texted, he said he's gonna come on this podcast either tomorrow or the next day. I don't think there was any ill intent. That's all I needed. I need to hear him say it. You know what I mean? But you start to wonder when the just different, hashtag just different kind of stuff, which is Lane's motto that he's taken or adopted at LSU and is putting everywhere. That was what the question, that's what we were kind of talking about. So anyone out there that's thinking like Ben tried to pile on or that was not the intent, I was trying to make sense of it too from somebody that knows the man. He got back to me. I see his thing today. For me, it's a non-issue. Comes on the podcast and explains it further. That'd be even great, even better, because, like, then I still want to go, like, where was the sun? You know what I mean? Why did you feel compelled? But even then, like, it ain't that serious. So for anyone that might be taking anything I said yesterday, just understand we were just trying to figure it out with y'all. I don't know why he did what he did. But I do know who Deuce McAllister is very well. First, he's one of the greatest Ole Miss Rebels of all time. And personally, he's been a friend of mine for a long time now, too. And I think the absolute world of him. That's why it was so shocking to see what seemed like a poor attempt at trolling. And that's all yesterday was. And now, until we hear from him again, I'm over it. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it's less about the picture and all that kind of stuff than just the just different thing. That's in my opinion what put it over the top, like I said. So I just wanted to clear that up, even though I don't think I did a very good job of doing it yesterday. We were just trying to figure it out too. So there was no reporting for me. I don't know why Deuce posted what he posted, but people kept asking about it, so we tried to cover it in a legitimate way. So I wanted to touch on that briefly because Deuce McAllister is one of the very best people I've met in this business. That's just the guy's on the street. He's been so good to me for so long. That's my dude, and he was the best Ole Miss Rebel in the world coming up. So that was the statement, Gail. That's the statement. Quite the star I call is there. Probably not the best phrase to use in that instance. I would say agreed. My loyalty, love, memories, that won't change. Good. Was there ever a question that they might? Ever, hashtag hottie toddy. I hope that Deuce comes on. Yes. So he's supposed to come on tomorrow or Thursday. Haven't heard back from him. Just want to let y'all know, man. I think everybody would love to see Deuce on the podcast, man. I would love to see.
No doubt.
I would love to see Deuce come back on, man, because again, it'll be as simple as, like, I didn't mean anything by it. And people go, oh, okay, because I think that's what happened here. But yesterday, it was kind of a shock to everybody because it just didn't make a lot of sense. So there it is. That's done and done with. The Deuce McAllister drama. We save it for our mamas until he comes on and joins us here on Talk of Champions / Game Runs Deep, whatever it might be that day. But welcome in, folks. Hello. Hi.
That's Ben Garrett.
Pepsi. For all your roofing needs, 662-644-4297, riverlandroofing.com. Or thanks to B&A Bank. B&A Bank for all your financial needs. Call them today at 662-534-8171, online at bnabank.com. And if you're looking for health insurance, call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group at 601-953-8449, online at quoteswithdrew.com. To you, Sudu.
So Ole Miss fan 198-824 said that's some Project Pat shit. I'm not sure what he's referring to there, but my buddy just ran into Pat the other day, and I told you immediately. Yeah, he was just going to lunch in Memphis, and Pat was just out there, and I think he just kind of said hi to him, and then kept it pushing. But
what the hell?
I know.
If you spot Pat out there, man, you just need to tell him he's got a home here, always and forever.
If I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be in Memphis actually this weekend, and I'm very curious. So one of my really good friends is getting married, and another kind of close friend of ours.
Greatest rap album of all time, right here. Project Pat's Missed It on Play. My thanks to Jake Sarachek as a gift for helping out with his doc. He sent it to me as one of the many keepsakes. I now got it on vinyl. I no longer have a record player, but by golly, I'm gonna get one unless I just leave this in the packaging. Because look at this right here. Look at this right here. Missed It on Play on vinyl.
Yeah, just get one to mount, and then you can get another one just to spin when you get a record player.
Luda.
Yeah, that's a classic one. But no, I don't know. I feel like I'm like 1 degree of separation from being able to talk to Pat. I spoke to Al Capone on the phone when I was in Miami. My buddy FaceTimed him. Al Capone, famous for Whoop That Trick, Hustle and Flow, for those unfamiliar.
Yeah,
not for you, but those in the chat may not know. And it was hilarious. When I was at WWE, Trick Williams, who's like a big deal now, the people would start chanting "Whoop That Trick." It was starting out. It wasn't quite as big as it is now. And I remember going to Trick and going, "Hey, I have a friend who was like connected to Al Capone in Memphis. We should see if they'll license Whoop That Trick for you to come out to." WWE doesn't do theme songs like they used to. Back in the day, it was bangers on bangers on bangers. Now it's just some generic crap, right? And no offense to any of my friends or former coworkers that have those theme songs, but like it just doesn't hit like Batista or Randy Orton or John Cena or all the ones that we grew up watching, or even Stone the Glass Cold, Break for Stone Cold, yeah.
Break the wall down.
Jericho Kane. I mean, Kane's theme song is currently having a resurgence on TikTok. People have entire accounts themed out. Like, my point is the music just isn't the same. So I tried to kind of facilitate that. And me, Matt Bloom, Trick, like we were all talking in the Performance Center one day, and Al Capone was down. He was like, "What is it going to take for you to do this song, whatever?" And for some reason, WWE didn't go through with it. So Al Capone, after all these years, when I talked to him in Miami a couple of weeks ago, asks me about it because I slightly bring it up, and he's like, "Oh yeah." Then he's like, "Bro, we got to figure something out." So I told Al Capone, I was like, "We need to get you to bring Trick out at WrestleMania. Like, you need to be Whoop That Trick as he comes out." I have yet to bring it up to Trick, but I did tell Al Capone I would. So if you ever see it,
get you quick because Trick's popping off, man.
He is, man. He is. And now my dog Oba Fem, bro. I love seeing the people I came up with like popping off. But yeah, it's hilarious that like I was just
like
able to.
Oba, you're right that like Oba had that like generic. They went and found some stock music and just put it out there, but he got it over. He's the one that got like doing that
exactly.
That walk, and then Oba, like he got that started. So he's very over, man. He like if Brock doesn't put him over, I'm gonna be.
Brock's getting paid over $1 million, and you've been seeing him sell. Like Brock is in his bag, and I can tell they gave him a bag. Like there's no other reason Brock would be selling. He got flipped over the ropes. I think it was yesterday, and and he sold it really well. So I'm just so happy for Isaac or Oba, man. He's just a good dude, and yeah, that's gonna be fun to see. I just pinned this. This is interesting. WWE is all entertainment.
It's easy.
The Dallas Cowboys are the WWE of the NFL.
Dallas Cowboys are the WWE of the NFL. As long as they're in the news, Jerry's is happy. Who is the Jerry Jones Cowboys of the SEC? Wherever Lane Kiffin is coaching, that is the Cowboys of the SEC. You know, just embrace it. He wants all of like for Lane. That's what the whole Deuce thing.
Lafayette Peter Familius, he really set us up on that one. I mean, that one we all knew.
Wherever Lane's head coach, like. Lane, that's why we understood what Lane was going for. He got exactly what he wanted out of the Deuce thing. Like, I have no doubt knowing Deuce. Well, I had some questions. I still have some questions, but I have no doubt knowing Deuce that like Deuce's intent wasn't to screw over his former team. It wasn't to troll the place that gave him everything in football. That's not what he intended to do. But Lane's was. Like Lane's was to screw with Ole Miss. He knew exactly what he was doing, getting a bigger just with Deuce. I mean, with the retweets alone, like how the best running back in Ole Miss history is coming to hang out with LSU, doesn't have anything to do with his former team. Like he get exactly what he wants at it because he loves that. Like Jerry Jones, there's nothing Jerry Jones hates more than being outshined. So like, if you're wondering when George Pickens might get something done, I'd say probably the day of the draft, the first day of the draft, so that the Cowboys discussed and all that dead time. You know what I mean? Like they tagged him when they didn't like they announced they were tagging him weeks before you could even tag. You know what I mean? So the only difference between Lane and Jerry Jones and that need for constant discussion, it's Donald Trump too. I mean, they're all one cut from the same cloth. The only difference between Jerry and Lane is that Jerry swears by his love for the Cowboys. I don't believe him. I think he's 80-something years old and loves the life he has. Do I think he wants the Cowboys to win so desperately he'll do anything? No. I think Lane, at this point, he doesn't love anything or anyone or anywhere but himself. So for him, it's all in constant pursuit of self, you know.
I would say Lane's listening today, but LSU actually opened spring practice today. So I don't know if he's actually actively listening. I'm sure someone will send that to him. But as soon as you get a response on that, please feel free to send it to me, and then we'll talk about it on the pod next week.
It's like my whole thing is like next time Lane texts, I'm gonna be like, dude, just come on the pod.
Yeah, have him on, man. And tell him it's not all going to be drama. Okay, it's not all going to be drama. We'll talk some ball with him.
No, I mean, but like, you know, I'll go if he needs me to come down there and take a picture with him like Deuce and tweet out hashtag just different.
Look,
well, then
if he'll have us, here's the deal, Lane. If you'll have us in Baton Rouge, Ben and I will come down. We'll bring cameras. We'll bring lights. We'll do the whole deal, man. We'll make it a whole production.
I've been told in not so flattering terms, if I come down there, I'm getting my ass kicked. To which I'm like, cool. Put your hands on me, bro, please, so I don't have to work no more. Please. No, I'm playing. Like, God is good, man. It ain't like
if there's one fan base I would believe, it would be LSU fans.
Yeah.
Tennessee fans too, but LSU fans.
I have no doubt. Like, Jarrell Poe is the one that told me, he's like, dude, you're not going down there without me. I was like, oh, okay. Well, why?
We'll bring Poe. Poe will be a part of the interview. This would be great.
Yeah, well, Poe's just going to be watching my six the whole time. You know what I mean? Making sure that the bottles don't fly. And if they do, Poe could destroy anyone. Me, I just
have Woody Watkins on too.
Man. I like that, but like that doesn't really go well with people who just, you're that guy that did the thing, man. So if Lane ever decides to,
here's the beauty of it though, Ben, is like you might be hated by LSU people for a few years, but when it crashes and burns, or if it goes really well and he dips, they're gonna be like, oh, that Ben Garrett, man, he was right. He was right. Time reveals all,
Ball don't lie.
Ball do not lie. That is true.
Ball don't lie. That's at the end. The ball don't lie. Like I hope he wins. I don't hope he wins a title. I'm not even gonna say that, dude. I'm not even pretending like I hope he wins a title.
Not an SEC rival. If he went to USC, I'd be like, yeah, good for Lane. I hope he brings it. Can't say the same for LSU. As much as I admire many parts of their culture down there, I can't.
Joseph Moore said he's got my six. Ben, I'll go with you. Make sure that don't happen. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if people want to fight me, that's fine. I don't care.
Joseph's got a. I feel like Joseph's got a strong chin, bro. I feel like he can take a.
He can take a hit. Action figure jaw there.
Yeah, look at that beard, Joseph.
But like, why is it got to get violent? Why can't we just call it what it is? Hey, Lane, you got commitment issues? No, why would you say that? Well, I mean, look at the history, man. I'm just asking,
Hey, okay, listen. I saw Oh Brother Where Art Thou years ago. Like I was in middle school on a bus trip somewhere, and I haven't seen it since. So there's so many references I just don't pick up on, but I have seen it for the record.
Do not pursue the treasure.
Yeah, Ben loves that one. I know that one.
I know way too much crap. All
right, let's
pop culture stuff.
Let's at least get to our bracket check-in first, Ben, before we kind of get into spring practice here.
I'd stop talking. I kept trying to lay it up to you to switch topics, switch gears. I know people get tired of it. Like I'm tired of it too. You know what I mean? Like I'm tired of it too. That's why it was like so disheartening that picture came out the way it did. And look, I haven't heard back from Deuce. I'll text him again. and like see if we can line them up for tomorrow or Thursday because I hadn't heard back from him since yesterday. So,
and I also think that's one of those things, man. It's like oftentimes when you see stuff on the internet that blows up, like Princely put out a video. Princely Monmillan the other day about remember when he posted Lil Ass Stadium when Florida played Utah.
Yeah.
So Princely put out a video the other day being like, "Let me explain to y'all what I was thinking," and he just literally was like, "We were walking through the stadium. I play at Florida at the time. I'm used to big SEC stadiums. I saw this tiny stadium. I took a picture and said, Lil Ass Stadium. I went in the locker room. I didn't think anything of it. And within 5 minutes, it's become this big thing. He's like, I deleted the tweet. It was too late. And it's one of those things. I'm sure Deuce was like, oh, I'm on this visit with my kid and Lane. Like, let me try to be funny, and it just did not. It's never malicious, or it is sometimes malicious, but most of the time I feel like in these instances, it's not malicious. It's just like someone's attempt to be funny or whatever, and then people
sometimes
never react.
They're not all going to be winners, man.
Right.
They're not all going to be winners. At Ole Miss fan 198824, Lane stuff gets old. He's more talking about Ole Miss than we are. That's the whole thing. He starts talking about Ole Miss, and then Ole Miss fans say stop, and LSU fan goes, "Why are you obsessed?" Oh, another post about Lane Kiffin and LSU.
You know where I stand on this now? I don't even agree with that anymore. I'm like, good. Talk about your rival. Talk about the interconference school. Like, to me, it's all a part of being a fan in the sport. Like, it's good for the sport. So I've gotten to the point where I used to feel that way. It was like, let's not talk about Lane that much on this pod. Let's not drum up. But I'm like, you know what? No, this is the biggest storyline of the offseason. That game is going to be the biggest, as far as like off the field storylines are concerned, the biggest game of the season next year, at least early in the season. It's okay. It's okay if Lane talks about Ole Miss or Ole Miss talks about LSU or whatever. LSU podcasters talk about you, or I mean, if they're saying bad stuff, that's a different story. But my point is, like, as far as the game,
I would just say, hey, friend, come hang out on my show and talk to me, or like I'll come on your show. Like I have no problem. I'll talk what I talk, but like it ain't personal. Yeah. But when it starts to feel like, and that's kind of what the picture felt like when it starts to feel personal.
Yeah.
And I, again, with what Deuce responded with, saying that's on me, my bad. If he wants to come on and talk, I think he just responded to me. Let's see. Thursday. He says Thursday, my guy. So
you always get the guests for when we're not doing game runs deep.
It's because of you. It's a you thing.
When you're solo on TOC, man, you're out here. You're getting the best guests. But you just let me not disparage the guests we've had on Game Runs Deep.
I was thinking to say,
we've had some great.
Wallace is awesome.
We had Chris Lowe, a legend.
Chris Lowe,
yeah,
I love Chris Lowe. That's big, bro.
Let me attack you without disparaging our guests. So I just want to say that. All right, let's check in on this bracket because we do want to get to some spring football stuff. Those of you in our March Madness Runs Deep bracket group right now, the top person, Bundalo Joy, it appears he has picked Arizona to win it all. 99.8% right now, man. Just incredible bracket. I don't know if he's listening to the pod right now, or I don't know if he's a Spirit subscriber or if he's just a listener from Game Runs Deep. But if you are Bundalo Joy right now, remember, the winner not only gets a Laquan Treadwell signed game day program, but you also get to come on Game Runs Deep after the conclusion of the NCAA tournament, and we'll pick a date that works for all of us, and we'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. So good for you at the moment. The bracket Ben, Murphy, Holloway, and I did is 28th at 50.8%. Not terrible.
That's pretty terrible.
That's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, not going to lie. And then my personal bracket is sitting at 14th. By the way, shout out everybody that we have 35 entries. So shout out to all 35 of you. Like,
hey, yo, my number 2, my bracket by myself is number 10. So
let's see. Which one is that?
ESPN 574577110 Pots for Yes Picks 2. I don't know how to change my name.
Okay. Top 10.
Right now. I'm going to change it right now. BG's Ballin' Bracket.
And then there's also one that says Ben 1. Is that you?
No.
Okay.
Here's my BG's Balling Bracket, as my wife calls me as I'm podcasting. My oldest got braces today. It's been a day.
Let's go. Did she do braces or Invisalign?
Braces.
Good.
Full on braces.
At her age, yeah, it makes sense. I know some kids, like younger kids, like elementary, middle school kids who are interested in Invisalign. I'm like, no, you should get the proper braces. That's what that age is for. It's okay to look awkward and have braces.
Look,
and they're more effective too.
My baby's perfect as she is. She said she didn't panic. She didn't worry. She didn't freak. She just went and got it done, and with a smile on her face, giving glory to God. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her.
Let's get
My wife
it.
said she wanted to meet for lunch. Oh, okay.
Oh man, are we impeding this? I mean, you could go, bro. I can always anchor this thing solo if you want to go have lunch with.
No, let's do our thing, dude. She's talking about like a lunch afternoon, dude. Sky rockets in flight.
Afternoon delight. All right. So, looking at the Sweet 16, anything surprising you here? Because I mean, obviously Duke St. John's seemed like a pretty I had that one picked. Michigan State UConn. That one pretty chalky. Iowa, Nebraska is the one that was not expecting. Obviously, Florida getting knocked out. Florida, who I had playing Michigan in the national title game, with Michigan eventually winning. Iowa, man, Bennett Sturts and the gang over there doing their thing, getting the big upset. Nebraska as well, though. I mean, Nebraska got past Vandy, and I know Nebraska is the higher seed technically, but I thought Vandy was going to beat them. And that was a thrilling showdown, man. Just trading shots back and forth. And then you look at Illinois and Houston. I had that one picked out as well. That one is going to be a fun one in the Sweet 16. Arizona, Arkansas. Darius Acuff Jr. just signed a deal with Reebok. I don't know if a college kid in the middle of the NCAA tournament has ever signed a major sports sneaker deal like that. There's obviously a lot of questions about his defensive game and what that means for him, but I don't know if I actually can't say that as far as like draft stock getting boosted in the tournament, but he's going to be among the beneficiaries of the NCAA tournament. Out of all the guys we've seen in years past, John Morant being one, Kemba Walker, there's been tons of guys like that who have taken control, but this dude is going to join that list of people who I think's draft stock is going to just skyrocket throughout this tournament. A huge opportunity against an Arizona squad that a lot of people have winning it all coming up. And then Texas, Purdue, bro. God, look at Sean Miller, man. Look at Sean Miller in Texas. The same Texas team that Ole Miss beat in the SEC tournament is now in the Sweet 16, getting ready to play an extremely talented team in Purdue. I had Miami over BYU to get to this point, or in this game, rather. Obviously, Miami couldn't hang against Purdue overall. I really thought they had a shot to make a run this year, but that, and then our final Sweet 16 game. Oh, actually, we got two more. Michigan, Alabama. Big Dusty May guy, excited for that one. And then Tennessee, Iowa State. I don't know what to think of this game. I think Iowa State's going to win. Tennessee's sort of kind of been putting it together recently, but I don't have much faith in them. So those are the Sweet 16 games. Any specific game that just excites you, Benny, or gets you fired up about March Madness here?
Well, number one, I'm looking back at my bracket. I don't remember picking Tennessee State over Iowa State. I don't remember that.
What in the trio or your personal bracket?
In my personal bracket, I don't remember picking the 15 over the 2. That's pretty shocking to me. If I hadn't done that, man, I'd be sitting pretty dead gun pretty. Now I had Virginia going pretty far, so Virginia's going to screw me. But yeah, that's the one that's really hampering my progress here.
Yeah,
I even had Vanderbilt over the fighting Bill Armstrongs. Maybe I just said, well, I picked McNeese in the other one. I'll pick Vanderbilt in this one. But good thing I did, because I had Nebraska going to the Sweet 16. Unfortunately, I had Florida going to the Sweet 16 until they lost to Houston. So Houston's keeping me alive. Michigan's still there. My pick is Arizona. And of these games coming up, Arizona, Arkansas is the one I'm most excited about. I mean, I just think that's March Madness, man.
That one to me is at the top of the list, but Duke St. John's, man, is the one I'm excited about. I think it's going to be a bang it out game, just down and dirty, and it's just going to be what Pitino's been able to do with St. John's this year, bringing in these guys that I don't want to call them rejects, but doing what Pitino does, coaching some freaking ball, man. I think it's going to be a war. It's going to be a full physical grinded out game. Really excited about that one. And then, of course, like you mentioned, our Arizona, Arkansas is really exciting. I just think the more Darius Acuff I get to see in this tournament, the better. Statistically, on paper, Arizona should win this one I don't want to say pretty easily, but they should win this game. But I just think with the way Acuff is playing right now and the surrounding cast, like Malik Ewan and Brazil and Billy Richmond and Malik Tom, they've been able to do some special stuff here. I don't know. People have different opinions on John Calipari. I've always been a huge fan of his. I love his persona. I love the way he operates, the way he kind of raises his players up. been a big fan. So those two kind of stand out to me. I think Arizona's going to win, but Arkansas is in my Final Four, and I've already lost one team on one side of the bracket in Florida, so I can't really afford to lose Arkansas. But
I'm also shocked that I picked Kentucky in this bracket. Like, in my bracket, am I sure this is mine? You can't rename it.
No, you were really low on Kentucky.
Yeah, so that did I just rename the wrong bracket here?
No, it had to be yours. There's no way you could rename someone else's bracket.
I mean, was I just flying through it? I had them beating Santa Clara, I had them beating Tennessee State in the second round. I don't remember picking Tennessee.
Maybe you got confused on one
or maybe I was like, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Like,
you were pretty damn sure that Kentucky was not impressive,
right?
When we were doing this originally. So
that's what I thought.
But
Ole Miss fan 198824 had Kentucky in the Sweet 16. I mean,
yikes!
Does your kid use your Disney account? Yeah. Sawyer might be on to something. Sawyer Wheatley, buddy here. And if you want the best custom shirt, just any shirt stuff, my guy Sawyer Wheatley at Screenco here in New Albany, he'll hook you up. He's got you, man. Go see him. He was the dude. I think like after a while, I just started just picking to get done. Must have, if that's my I couldn't rename it unless it was mine. I don't know what happened. I went against everything. I'm so upset. Not really. But I would be in much better position. I'm just saying if that Tennessee State and the Kentucky picks, which don't you back me up. You're like, wait a second. I know you didn't like Kentucky.
Nah, I remember specifically you being like, they have not impressed me all year. They just do nothing for me. I mean, I didn't disagree. Like, Otega a hell of a player, but yeah, Kentucky as a whole just this year was not that exciting.
Well, the bottom line is whoever wins, we want you on Games Runs Deep. We'll be locked in this weekend to games. Deuce McAllister will be coming on Thursday, he says. So, Gail, you'll get what you wanted. She says, yay, can't wait to see Thursday's show. Can't wait to have Deuce back on. I love Deuce McAllister, man. I really do. He's one of my favorite people, bro. So, like, I can't wait to talk to him. And I'll ask him, and y'all could ask him too. But I'm not going to treat him like he's, some – pariah or something, man, just because but like I appreciate him coming on, man, because he's the best. And that's why not yesterday, but the day before last was so bizarre. It was just a weird that
thing. man is an Ole Miss legend. And I think the final thing I'll say on this is you got to give people like that the benefit of the doubt, right? You can be mad, but the initial reactions on social media were like, I'm putting Quinshawn on the list of great Rebels over Deuce, and I'm like,
it's like,
can we please
we all need and deserve or not deserve. We deserve the complete opposite, but we are commanded to have and show grace. So I have nothing but grace. I was trying to figure out what it was coming, but now we get to just straight yesterday when it caused a little bit of stir on other message boards. Like, I see you, Rebels 247. I see you mentioning my name. I see you. Like, what
do they say?
They were just like, well, Ben said that, Deuce was Deuce didn't get a job with Ole Miss. That's why he was mad. I was like, I was trying to consider, because I know he tried to pursue that at one point.
Yeah.
Is that the reason? Because I'm trying to understand, because it went completely against type for Deuce to do something that seemed like it was straight up trolling of his own fan base, borrowing a page out of the Lane Kiffin playbook. And with his statement today, with him coming on the show on Thursday, I think it's pretty clear that he didn't mean anything necessarily by it, and it's time to just drop it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. So, anyways. Tournament, if you guys are in our bracket, best of luck to you moving forward, and can't wait to see who comes on Game Runs Deep with us in April and to get to do. I'm excited about that, man. I mean, we see a lot of our loyal listeners in the comments, obviously, but to get to hear from them and see them is going to be awesome.
And in person, I love how the audience, a lot of times, like sometimes we'll have a bunch of people, like thousands of people watching at one time. Sometimes we'll only have a few hundred people watching at one time, and the numbers always like fluctuate, and yet the experience is always the same. Oh, tell Pseudo I still think he's high every time. Like, I'll see somebody out, like I'll be at Kroger. Hey, tell Pseudo he looks like he's high as hell. I'm like, I know you're one of the, it's been cool to see it grow. So let's do some spring stuff. I'm ready.
Let's do some spring. Well, obviously
minutes into this thing, and I got Emily saying she 20 years in, she still wants your boy. So let's go.
Hey. All right, let's get to it. So Ole Miss football, obviously spring practice beginning on Monday. You guys won't get into the Manning Center till what, Friday? So Friday, obviously we know what's coming back. Trinidad Chambliss, Kevon Lacey, big additions.
Trinidad.
Trinidad. Deuce Alexander's back, obviously a receiver. Do you see our boy Daquan Wright getting hella love in this pre-draft process?
Yes.
I didn't realize he led the country in yards after catch a year ago. I knew he was at the top of the list. He was somewhere at the top, but did not realize he led all pass catchers in YAC last year. You and I both said it watching him a year ago in the multiple games you were there at. I mean, when he's in the open field, first of all, he gets open like no other. But when he's in the open field, it is really hard to bring down Daquan Wright or even you stop him from gaining those yards after catch. Think of all the critical plays that Daquan Wright was involved in a year ago. Would you say, okay, there's a few candidates obviously headed to the NFL, DeJon Stribling being another one that I'm really excited about. But as far as like immediate impact guys are concerned, you think Daquan could be that guy out of this draft class for Ole Miss?
Or DeJon Stribling.
Yeah, those are the two. I think those two for sure.
I saw a high water mark for Strib of like 36th overall. He's not going in the first round. He's not. I would be surprised if he went in the second. But like with what he's done in testing, running a 4.36 at the combine, got a crazy catch radius. The thing with the thing that holds Stribling back, because they were asking about on the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, Fleet13. This QR code right here. If you're a new member, scan it, sign up today. 50% off the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, Fleet13. Been writing about doing Daquan Wright, the NFL draft. It's all day, every day Ole Miss stuff. The Ole Miss Spirit. If you're a new member, you want to try us out, you can get 50% off an annual sub right now by scanning this QR code on your screen and joining us. But what's held Strib back is his inability to separate really off the line of scrimmage, or his lack of separation burst. I guess his separation burst is the best way to explain it. That's what's held him back in turn. But he's got everything else, like contested catches. Like you might want to see him a little bit stronger in contested catches.
Speed. I mean, the biggest thing, right?
Yeah. Like if he's at worst, Laquan Treadwell. Laquan spent 10 years in the league. Now he only has like 1,500 yards receiving over 10 years. But dude, he's become a core special teamer for the Colts. Mm-hmm. Like this dude's a gunner on special team. We're just talking about who sticks the longest. Strib or Daquan Wright. My question for Daquan is just the injury history. He played through through injuries last year. Like health was something he battled all year. Yeah. But when he's available, he's a willing inline blocker, and he reminds me a lot. If the floor is Kenny Yeboah for him, Yeboah, just like built very physically like Daquan Wright. He's going to be a late round undrafted guy. Maybe Daquan goes in the mid rounds. I see him as day 3. Either way, like. Kenny's stuck on practice squads. I mean, he's never lacking for an opportunity. That is the floor for Daquan. So for me, you've nailed the two guys that are most NFL. Like they're gonna stick, in my opinion. Which of those? I'm probably going with Strib, but Daquan Wright, if he's healthy, there's no better NFL draft prospect in this class.
I agree. I mean, I think with Daquan, the reason I mentioned Daquan is as a tight end, as such a mismatch at the tight end position too. I could see him finding himself on the field early and then being able to make an impact pretty quickly. Receivers are tricky, obviously, depending on where you get drafted, as far as Stribling is concerned. But I think highly of both of those guys. But I've been loving seeing like Jordan Schultz tweeting about Daquan Wright, because I always felt like he was sort of an unsung hero of that offense. Obviously, you're going to give Kewan, you're going to give Trinidad a lot of the credit. Obviously, Trey Wallace, and you had so many weapons of that offense. But the guy that came in clutch, time and time. Remember the game against LSU? Who did that throw go to? That went to Daquan Wright. Just think of all the big moments that he provided. Really excited for him. I'm glad he's getting his due, and hopefully this means his draft stock's going to rise. He's got a lot of meetings set up. I know that. The Panthers being one of the teams.
Sawyer Wheatley asked whose ceiling is higher. I would say they have pretty similar ceilings, like similar questions. But like if they stay on the field, those guys are pros. Last year, Daquan put up 39 catches, 665 yards, 5 touchdowns, led the country in YAC yardage, as Sudu definitely pointed out, showing his ability to stretch the field, according to Jordan Schultz, and create mismatches down the seam, and has got visits lined up with the Panthers and others. So best of luck to him, man. That's a sneaky, tough starter to replace. Like Ole Miss returns 21 starters. You might say, well, no, they don't. Yeah, I'm counting those transfers that were starting at their former place too that have come to start at Ole Miss. 14 from last year's team on top of at least 7 that are going to be starting for Ole Miss this year from the portal. Daquan Wright replacing him is going to be really hard because Luke Kosk, are you going to be healthy? When he's healthy, man, what a weapon he is. He's battled durability concerns his entire career. Behind him, they revamped the room with Michael Smith from USC, who I think is a little underutilized. Kind of fits the body type of a Daquan Wright. You could see maybe not a breakout of that same stature, but a breakout nonetheless from him in some way. I think there's some athletic Raz scoring that they like about him potentially. Brady Priestcorn is Caden's younger brother. They like Hayden Bradley, but like for me, Caleb Odom, what is he going to look like this spring? I know he's going to play a little bit more wide receiver again. Is he just a big wide receiver now? Are they going to really try to let him be the lockdown number one tight end? Or is that Luke Koss? Like, what is Caleb Odom? Where is Caleb Odom, essentially? And you can read about that at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, affiliate on 3, by scanning that QR code, because I wrote a story specifically about him and the tackles, the offensive tackles. Those are two of the biggest questions. Like, where's Caleb Odom? How much time is he at tight end? How much time is he with the wide receivers? They're remaking the wide receiver room, too, behind Deuce Alexander. And, yes, they like what they did in the portal. But, like, Caleb Odom is a big wide receiver in the slot, could help you. Operating a lot like Evan Ingram did as an inline block. Like, he's in there to catch passes. I don't know if he's ever going to be in there to block. So there's a number of guys like that. Traylon Ray's another good one. They loved him coming from West Virginia last year. Couldn't get healthy.
Is Traylon Ray the kid they put at DB?
Yes.
Okay, and so he moved back to receiver, right?
He moved back to receiver, okay. And like that's a player that went for almost 500 yards the year before at West Virginia. Was a standout in the spring, even over like Dejon Stribling. Remember, like Dejon took a little while to get going. You know, what I mean, it took a second to get his feet underneath him. Once he did, absolute animal. Like I agree. I saw in the strap in the chat. At Dirty Ass Eater says
he's back.
Be an all-time favorite Reb. Like, I don't know if I'll go that far, but like he'll always be remembered from this historic program record-setting team. Strib is up there, absolutely. Like he's going to be one of the faces of that. You're going to think about Kewan and Trinidad, but you're from Michigan, but you're also going to remember Dejon Stribling, and even more so than guys like T.J. Daughtery, who led you in tackles. I'm sorry, was that a shot? No, not really, but you get what I'm saying.
No,
like, he's stuck in his doing thing, and he's going to be hard to replace. I like what they have, but Caleb Odom, especially from that big tight end, a big wide receiver serving as that tight end role, he could really make up for a lot of the contested stuff and some of that production loss with losing Strib specifically. So I'm going to be watching him and the offensive tackles. I mean, Carius Curran, I think ideally they'd love to have him at guard, but they don't have, I mean, he's Ole Miss's right tackle, in my opinion. But can Tommy Kinsler or Terez Davis hold up at left tackle? We'll see. You're not going to get anything much, but like this Ole Miss team is good. I don't understand the 7.5 over under. Like their win total set at 7.5. Like right now, you can lay $100 down on Ole Miss to win 5,000.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm taking that one easily. I'm
not even a gambler like that, bro. Like
no, I'm going to look. I'm going to be up. I'm going to be in Tennessee this weekend. That first thing I'm doing is hopping on FanDuel, man, and laying that down easy. That's easy money.
At Ole Memes, morning, guys. When do we get a look at Caleb Cunningham on the field? You think Friday? as the minute we get out there, he's one of the first ones I'm looking at. Like, if you want to talk about Dejon Stribling candidates or replacements potentially, Caleb's the one physically that makes the most sense, and he's been in the system now. JDB's in his first year as offensive coordinator and taking over Charlie Weiss, but like the bones of the offense are the same. All right. The bones are the same. Now, learning the variations or the intricacies of what JDB likes to do, or tendencies, I should say, especially when compared to Charlie Weiss and Lane Kiffin, that'll be an adjustment. But Caleb, this is time for him. And there are a few like that in the spring for Ole Miss. That like it's now Shakai Mills night. Need to see this. Like, did you see what they did in that room behind you in the portal? Now they weren't trying to portal over you, but
I was going to say, look, if there's one position group for Ole Miss, once again, the attention immediately goes to Trinidad, and it goes to, who do they bring in the portal at receiver? But, dude, you want to look at running back. This is one of the better running back rooms Ole Miss has had I guess they've had some good ones, though, because remember when Zach was around and Quinshawn
Zach Evans and Quinshawn together was that was
a pretty good one. Scotty Phillips. Who was with Scotty Phillips?
My favorite, like very underrated, Jerrion Ely and Snoop Connor.
Snoop and Jerrion, like we've got some good ones, but dude, I think adding
Deuce McAllister and John Avery, Deuce McAllister and Joe Gunn.
We can go way back. I mean, if we're going to go way back, we got some guys. Even in the modern era, we talked about that 08 team with Eason and Bolden, and we've seen and Ricky. We've seen some good ones, but the Mekhi Frazier addition is just incredible to me. I love that he's a kid from Michigan State. He's young as well. But, dude, this Joshua Dye kid is the one that interests me.
Thank
I
you.
just don't know what that's going to look like in the
Thank
SEC
you.
because 295 carries, 1,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, and an average of 6.2 yards per carry a year ago. How does that translate from Southern Utah to the SEC? That one's exciting to me. Because the kid's high. I mean, the work he did. What is Southern Utah? What level is that at? Let's look that up.
FCS.
Is that FCS? So, I mean, we've
Division
seen
2.
FCS to D1, work pretty well, but like, I'm just that one is exciting to me because, dude, if they hit on this kid and Maldonado are the two, the edge rusher on defense that are like my wild cards.
Why don't you ever, when you're talking about this stuff? Sorry, I just totally kicked my desk here. Why don't you ever go to YouTube and pull up Joshua Dye highlights and start playing them as you're talking? All right, because I've actually got a thought on this of the running back situation here. Okay,
go ahead.
This is Keywan's final year. I mean, he's going pro. He's getting paid a pretty penny. He turned down more money elsewhere to go to Ole Miss.
Yeah. But Ole Miss also told him, right, that they will protect him in a draft year. You're not going to have to be the every single down back and be playing hurt all the time. Like, you will have help. Like, that was a big draw, right?
But I think they thought their room was better last year than it turned out to be. And that's why I come back to guys like Shakai Mills-Knight. While we all love the new car smell of guys like Joshua Dye and Mekhi Frazier, JT Lindsey from LSU. I mean, that's a former 5-star prospect, right?
Yeah. I forgot about Lindsey even. See what I'm saying? It's so
Shakai Mills-Knight, it would behoove him to have a really good spring because the timeline is starting to move past you. As I'm getting another blown up phone call, man, I don't know who's calling me today. I got so many spam risks lately. I don't know. Is this I blame it on Lane. So this is important for him. Caleb Cunningham, same thing. You know what I mean? LaDarian Clardy, who was coming on at the end of last year, defensive back safety, who, man, I think he could be an all-league caliber player by the time he leaves Ole Miss. They added 5 defensive backs, you know what I mean, including a couple of starting safeties.
Yeah.
And Edwin Joseph. And Jonelle Aguero, who Sudu claims is didn't you say defensive SEC defensive MVP?
I think you said he was going to win the what's the DB award? The
Jim
you
Thorpe? Said that. You're confused because you said it was the Thorpe Award, and I was like, I don't. Jonathan Banks won that. I remember. And the only reason I say that is because I remember talking to somebody that was on the plane with him coming back because I was trying to catch Chris Jones stuff, and he said, "Yeah, Chris Jones just told Dan he's not going to go to Ole Miss," and that's how I found out reported it on the Ole Miss Spirit. And people said, "Well, how do you know?" Well, because Dan was quite I heard Dan say it on the phone. He's like, "Listen to this. Oh, you ain't going nowhere, are you?" And, it's kind of funny. But yes, Sudu believes Jonelle Aguero is going to win the Thorpe.
That never said that. Well, look who decided to join us again. After weeks of absence, our boy Jackarino 95 is back.
I don't remember Jackarino.
I had to yell at him this weekend. I said, dude, you've been missing too many pods recently, and a little tough love got him back. So sometimes
I want to hit on the biggest spring stuff. All right. And we're going to have to be pretty quick, but for me at Ole Miss, it starts at 2 places. I mean, 2 places. Yes. Offensive tackle. They have to figure that out. Offensive tackle and the defensive secondary. Because linebacker, I'm kind of bullish on, not the defensive secondary. Defense, I was talking all about safeties, got caught up. But pass rush now that Prince Will's gone. Prince Will was their sack leader. That's a loss. But the tackles on the offensive line, Blake Purchase, and those guys on the defensive line that they signed to go with Cam Franklin, Will Eccles, how does that pass? The pass rush component and getting to the quarterback sacks last year was something that took Ole Miss some time to get to. They were getting pressures, but finally getting to the quarterback. Ole Miss finally having a linebacker. Ole Miss finally having a linebacker. They had linebackers last year. TJ Dowdy got pushed around against Miami, but the numbers are what they are. And he was Ole Miss's leading tackler. And but I think that the players they got in the portal and Forelli and Keaton Thomas are Butler. I mean, I think those 2 guys in particular, Forelli,
they upgraded big, I think, at linebacker. And that's why the loss of Daugherty to me is just not that important. He was a good player, serviceable player, had his moments, but ultimately he wasn't going to be the decider between you winning a title and not. As a matter of fact, it might have been a liability at the end of it.
So for me, Ole Miss, if we're going to all 16 schools, and we say there's 2 things, one thing on each side of the ball that we're most paying attention to. All right. For Ole Miss, it's offensive tackle. That's the glaring issue. They returned three starters in Bryson Sanders and Patrick Kudus, and Kudus has some positional versatility where he can kick out to right tackle if he needed to, but he was really good at guard, won the whole trophy last year. Getting Delano Townsend, re-signing him was a big, important step. But how it settles at tackle is the most important. And defensively, for me, it's replacing the pass rush because Prince Will is a loss. I mean, here's the thing: Lane didn't exert full he didn't totally demolish and he didn't have to do what he wanted to do. But he set out to absolutely take the program down with him because they wouldn't let him coach the playoffs. And instead of that happening, Ole Miss only lost 4 players, 3 of which I think they can make up for. Will make up for. Prince Will, that's the one that's let's be all honest and look in the mirror. That's a loss. Now, Ole Miss made Prince Will and Prince Will. He hadn't done nothing until he came to Ole Miss under Pete Golding last year, but Lou Spanos was his guy. He's now at LSU too. So I think he's going to be good again. And replacing him, that's not going to be just as easy as, all right, well, you got this guy and this guy, or maybe it is when we start to see them on fire.
That's what I'm saying, man. The level of names you brought in, it should garner excitement, but in the transfer portal era, you also can't consider something a sure thing. A la Ole Miss's secondary a year ago, adding some guys there, it just didn't end up working out. Sage Ryan.
Stop that.
But, I love, what helps is Michael Burrow in the middle, Jaheim Otis in the, you got these big bodies in the middle that are going to garner, obviously, attention from
Jaheim Otis. Jaheim Otis. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Finish that. Sorry.
No, go. Do you say what you're going to say?
Dude, Jaheim Otis, I still forget that he's part of this. He's one of the very first people I want to talk to. I want to be like, Jaheim, I've been mentioning your name, bro, for 4 years,
Jaheim, we've been waiting for this for years, man. No, seriously. And you don't know what you're going to get from Jaheim Otis because let's be real, his career so far has been underwhelming. He hasn't lived up to the hype that he was billed at, right, coming out of high school. I think Burrow is, to me, it feels like he could be a difference maker. I know you were talking about Maddox months ago, talking about what Maddox could potentially become in his development.
You talking about Baby Maddox, defensive tackle?
Baby Maddox, yeah.
Baby Maddox is a beast. I think Baby Maddox got all the. He reminds me of, y'all remember for Oklahoma, God, Tommy Harris. I'm telling you, Baby Maddox got some Tommy Harris to him, man. I don't know if it's all gonna click, but dude, if I'm picking a breakout guy on defense this year, it'd be easy to go with all these transfers. Baby Maddox. I'm picking Baby Maddox. Dude, I think that guy could be a line wrecker. So here's what I want to do.
Big.
I want an offensive storyline, defensive storyline for all 16 teams. We've done Ole Miss now. I'm just gonna give you some schools. You take half, I'll take half. I've already done Ole Miss. All right, so you do Alabama.
Oh, we're doing all 16. I thought we were gonna really dig into Ole Miss today.
Okay. We can just dig into Ole Miss. I'll do whatever you want to do. You're dropping
this is how, and we're giving you all a look into how the meat is made or whatever it's the term is here that I'm not getting at the moment. But the sausage is made. That's what I was trying to say.
Sausage gets made.
Ben and I had these
Gail asked, Gail asked, it's been on the screen. Have you already said when this starts? It started the 23rd. We're not let in until the 27th. Fans can't. So go to the Ole Miss Spirit today. Sign up today. Half off, 50% off for new members because the coverage is already coming, but it's really, really going to be coming on Friday. See, again, phrasing. And I heard myself saying it in my brain as I was saying it.
There are only so many pauses I can give you before it just becomes who you are.
It's not intentional. It's really not. And I've just got to we got to prepare better. You know what I mean? Anyway, all right. So you really want to deep dive Ole Miss?
I want to do, and just a disclaimer to our listeners. So I called Ben yesterday to talk about something unrelated. In the middle of it, hey, so tomorrow, man, we should talk about Ole Miss spring practice. Whatever. Yeah, man, we'll talk a little tournament. Sounds good. Whatever. Boom. That's it. And then we come on here, and now we're let's deep dive. Yeah, because here's the plan for our listeners, and this is something that we briefly discussed a while ago. I'd like to do in-depth previews of all these teams. So if we focus on a team or two each episode for the coming weeks, I think it'll give us an opportunity to really dive in. One of the comments left on we did a spring or a early SEC, over under thing a few weeks ago. And one of the comments on YouTube was, this guy was really disappointed. He was like, I thought you guys were really going to deep dive into this. I tuned in and it wasn't enough apparently. So I want to give
you want to do this for every team.
We're going to do a 16 team breakdown throughout this offseason. I'd like to talk about LSU next.
No.
I'd like to talk about LSU next. Why not? They got it. This is a great team over there. I want to talk about their wide receiver room.
All right, let me get Shay Dixon on with us. My guy Shay?
Hell yes. Absolutely, dude.
All right. When we doing this Friday?
We are fans of college football on this program. Oh, I can't Friday, Benny. I'm going to be traveling.
See what he does? You see what he does? It's all your
traveling.
Time. It's fine. We need to take a quick break, folks. Let's hear from Riverland Roofing and C Spire. We'll be right back. Let me compose myself.
Sudu wants a Georgia break.
Bye, babe. Let's get to work.
Advanced technology to accelerate business growth. There's more to see.
Start my weekend.
C-Spire, customer inspired.
So much love to C-Spire, to Riverland Roofing, to B&A Bank, to Game Day Haircuts. Let's hear briefly from Riverland Roofing. I'm calmer now. I was excited to have a beautiful LSU. I've muted Sudo. He can't even say anything right now. I don't think he can even unmute himself. And he ruined it. He ruined it by always, making promises he can't keep. Let's hear from Riverland before we jump back into Ole Miss spring practice storyline.
Protecting homes and businesses from the whims of nature. You need more than just quality materials. You require Riverland Roofing. Licensed, insured, and certified, Riverland Roofing offers not only the assurance of excellence, but a tailored approach to your unique structural needs and budget. To learn more about what Riverland Roofing can do for you and the community, call them at 662-644-4297 or visit riverlandroofing.com.
I have been doing good, Fred G. Thank you for acknowledging. No cursing, Ben. You've been doing good. God is good. So I was studying the Beatitudes. I'm still on it. Meeting my guy, Pastor Charlie, on Thursday because I'm telling you, I'm ready. I'm ready to step out and get behind a pulpit. You know what I mean? Ready to go. City said he'd be my first congregation, didn't you?
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Yeah, well, y'all be 100%. Too. All y'all in the chat. I don't know where it'll be. I don't know when it'll be, but I want you all there. And studying the Beatitudes, man. And I was in Matthew, led me to James. It's showing up right there in James, about James 3. It's talking about bridling your tongue. And I was like, okay, reading you loud and clear. Got it. How do you go from Matthew to James and go directly to bridle tongue if you're being guarded unless it's God? So God is good, and I'm trying to do better. So thank you, Fred G, for the encouragement. Let's go. Hopefully I won't say anything I'm not supposed to. It's not the words, it's the intent. If I say, I'm just playing, y'all, I'm full of shit, but then I say, you're full of shit, there's a difference. That's all I'm saying, but God is good. Hey, Ben, what's my handle? Well, at Dirty Eater says,
which, by the way, I just noticed his picture.
Dude, he's been here for a minute. I love this cat, dude. He's hilarious. He's hilarious. Dude, that picture is insane.
Dude, this guy, man. This guy
is right. You just want to do 16 teams because you want to do a Georgia breakdown. That's all it is.
Well, for the Georgia breakdown, I'm going to hope to get on our boy Rusty Manziel, hopefully for that one. So.
Okay, so you're on Rusty. I'm on Shay. Shay for Friday. No, we can't do Friday.
Let me ask you this about Friday. So are you going to be in Oxford Friday?
We're planning this live on the air, and will I be in Oxford?
This is why all of you that watch all the other shows, show them support. I want as many people in the media game to get love and money and views as possible. But this is what makes us different.
To answer my text messages every once in a while. That's all.
Who?
Chase Parham. I want them to all be great, all the pods and stuff. But
what if we just all join forces?
It ain't like that. It ain't competition.
Hey, if you guys are on the other boards and stuff, you should pitch the idea of everyone joining forces to just make one big machine. One big Ole Miss media machine.
Don't tease me with a good time.
Now, so you're going to be in Oxford Friday. What time?
I don't know. We don't know when practice is. I would assume it's in the morning.
Yeah.
So I can go to Riverland and be in the Riverland Roofing Studios.
I was going to say, if you want, I could probably stay in Oxford Thursday instead of going straight to Memphis. But we would have to do it early Friday. If you want to just do the pod in person live, Betty and Sue sit next to each other, man.
And I'll call Shay. All right, I'll set it up. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's do that. Right. Let's do that Friday. Let's do Friday, but let's do 10 Central if possible, because I do need to. I have some people to.
That's not early. I thought you were going to say 7. That's when we usually do it.
7.
I don't know.
That's prime sleep hours, dude. I feel like I'm in deep REM at 7 a.m.
Ole Miss fan 198824 said that'd be great. He's down for it. So Friday at 6 a.m. Wake up with Ben and Sudu.
6 a.m. Pacific.
He's at 6 a.m. Pacific.
No shot.
I'm gonna tell you, Mountain Time's the time to live on. But that's another discussion for another day. All right, give me your questions then. You want to deep dive? Drive this train.
Let's do it. Okay, so
like find some YouTube video when I'm doing my long-winded answers to entertain the people. You know, thanks to Game Day Haircuts. Let's go.
I can try. Okay, so let's just start at quarterback first, and let's talk about what's behind Trinidad Chambliss, right? Deuce Knight, very exciting. There were doubts, is Deuce Knight happy now that Trinidad has gotten his waiver? Well, there's a whole photo shoot out now that he is in Ole Miss gear. He is staying. He didn't take Ole Miss, he took Ole Miss out of his bio. Whatever. He's there. He knew the deal when he got there. What do you think about the QB2 position? What's behind Trinidad as far as Deuce and I guess we still have AJ Maddox there, right? Walker Howard's back now. I know he threw at Ole Miss Pro Day. What his role is going to be, but let's start there.
The backup quarterback situation is a question only because you think it's Deuce. He's a prohibitive favorite, but Walker Howard's brought in here to be a floor. And what I mean by that is he's throwing at Pro Day. If they need an emergency quarterback, that's a guy who knows the system, knows the people, knows the program, a great culture guy. Everybody on the team's excited to have him back. He's not a threat to start. He's not. He would even tell you that. Deuce is. Deuce can start. Now, will he do could he do to Trinidad what Trinidad did to Austin Simmons last year? No, I don't think so. And he does have some question marks in regards to his game and his long-term viability as an every down starter. Is he a gimmicky kind of guy, or does he have the full arsenal to take over a program? Some of that will be answered this spring. As far as being backup, if Ole Miss needed to keep trying to win games, Deuce Knight would be the very first option for them. And I really don't think there's anybody there to push him in that way. Now they've got Smith coming back they got Malika Smith from Oklahoma State. Did some good things in the spring last year. AJ Maddox. They have a very full room. Reese Wise, who they signed, a 3-star prospect. But in terms of who's the starter next year, I think right now I would put the money on the favorite being someone on another roster right now, unless Deuce starts to show those signs. And it might be the spring. It might not be until the fall, but it'll be Deuce in someone, and I think that someone is currently not on the roster. He's probably going to be or might end up starting somewhere else. I don't know who that is, but Ole Miss is going to add a portal quarterback. But Deuce could really put a stranglehold on that behind Trinidad starting this year. Trinidad Chambliss is Ole Miss's quarterback in 2026, regardless of his continuing NCAA court fight, period.
Yeah. What do you think about? So, I think someone just asked the question: will Deuce be on the field at all this year when you do have those blowouts?
Yes.
Right? Who comes?
I think
in?
more than that.
And what was the draw? Let me also ask you this: what was the draw for Walker Howard? Is this a natural hey, once my career ends, I'm going to kind of get involved in the staff kind of move? Because it was interesting. He went to ULL to go play, and obviously he got hurt. There's no guarantee he ever gets on the field at Ole Miss, right? So what was his drive to come back to Oxford? Is this a kind of a future move for him?
For him, it's very simple. He's a mature veteran kid now. I mean, now he's not a kid anymore. He's been through it all. He was the 5-star prospect. He went to Auburn. He went to Ole Miss. He's transferred. He's gone to start. He's gone to this. A lot of stuff happened. Some stuff he just fell short on, whatever. He is here mainly because he understands who he is and where he's at. Now, that he could be Cooper Rush. He could be a guy that's just one of the very best backup quarterbacks, but that's where his playing career is headed. He is not a starter. Right. So he brings a floor and a floor that Ole Miss believes, as long as we don't fall below this, we're going to be fine. You know what I mean? You don't want the bottom to drop out just because if Trinidad goes down, you're losing a Heisman candidate, you're not going to be a playoff team, but you don't want the bottom to completely fall out. Deuce would start, but Walker Howard, if he needed to lead an offense, could he lead your offense? Yes, if he needed to. Is he good? Do you want him leading your offense for 15 games? No, you don't. But Cooper Rush used to come in. He's made a career for himself in the NFL because in his three game stretch of starting, he kept the team afloat, kept them moving. They'd go 2-1, and the season wasn't over. Or maybe 6 games he started and he'd go 4-2. You know what I mean? You're just trying to weather the storm. Ole Miss added a floor it otherwise didn't have because AJ Maddox is unproven, and Smith, you don't know what you have with him either. So you're adding just some assurance at the back end of your depth chart. The thing is you don't have a lot of upside after Trinidad outside of Deuce Knight. Reese Wise, when he gets on campus, you want to see him. Keegan Croucher, if they can get him on campus next year. All that kind of stuff is true, but when you're looking toward the future, because yes, Trinidad is the quarterback in 2026. He will not be the quarterback in 2027. Also, for those in the chat that are asking or mentioning it, yes, Walker's also back because Lane's gone. That's not that's true. That's absolutely true. Now, if he'd gone to ULL and done what he wanted to do and like balled out, not gotten hurt, he'd be at like, another high major starting, but that's not what happened. So, God is sovereign and he sets forth the path for all of us. And Walker, like I saw him at the Fiesta Bowl, him and Caden Prieskorn together. They hollered out to me, and right then and there, he told me straight, he's like, I'm coming back. I'll be back, blah, 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 blah. And for him, it's very simple. Like he has a job to do. And his future in football could be in any number of things. It could be as a Cooper Rush backup. It could be as a coach like on staff starting out as a GA once he graduated.
And he had experience with JDB, right? They were their time overlapped, right?
Exactly. Like Walker knows these he's preparing for the future. He could end up in the front office. He could be in football ops. Jonathan Hess is in football ops, man. I mean, like you don't know where your career is going to take you. You go where you have the relationships, and now he's at a mature place in his career and phase of his life that he doesn't need to go be the starter at ULL or blah blah blah. He understands that, like, well, my future it took a different turn than I expected because as the 5-star, everybody wanted quarterback, but Ole Miss is home for him, and he's returned home. So he adds a floor, a sense of security Ole Miss otherwise did not have.
Yeah.
Not to say, again, you don't want him starting. You just don't.
No, of course.
Right here, you don't want Walker starting. Not if you're expecting to win a national championship at Ole Miss in 2026.
Right.
But the bottom would not fall out. Like he would, like you wouldn't turn around and start like wondering if you're gonna. You got a 9-game SEC schedule, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna start to see some roster strategy that you otherwise didn't see before. 15 games, and now 9 of them are in the SEC.
Yep.
No one's ever had this stuff. You need assurances, and it's not spectacular. But if Walker Howard is your absolute floor, you're doing pretty good. You got it better than most
without a doubt. All right, so that's quarterback. Obviously, a lot of good options there, and you just hope Deuce can show some flashes to lead some momentum into the next season. Running back, we kind of briefly touched on. I guess let me just ask you, simply put, after Kewan, who is going to kind of be the next guy? Is it going to be Adai? Is it going to be Shakai? Is it going to be Mekhi Frazier? Will it be JT Lindsey? Who's your bet on the RB2 kind of leader for Ole Miss next season?
I'm putting my money on Joshua Adai, but it's either him or Mekhi Frazier for me. One of those two dudes is going to – and remember, Kewan is not going to cede many carries. He's on a Heisman campaign. He is a bell cow. He can pass pro, he can catch, he can run. He is an NFL running back. Cannot wait to see him at the next level and to hear him say Kewan Lacey, Ole Miss, starting for the Dallas Cowboys in 2027-8, whatever it is.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head there. For me, it's as important as it is to be just a good running back. It's going to be who behind him can protect like he can.
Yeah. Like, I love JT Lindsey and what he could be, but he hadn't done it yet, and last year was a lost year for him because of off-the-field stuff. Right. I don't know if he can pass pro. I would assume that one of Frazier or Dye knows the gritty work you got to do in this league to get on the field. And whoever does that better, and I'm talking about legit pass pro, that's going to get the first crack at carries because all these guys can carry the football. Don't put that evil on Kewan Ben, said that old man. Man, I need a star on the helmet of Kewan Lacey. You know? Maybe we get a star on the helmet of one Trinidad from Michigan.
I hope not, man.
I do, man. To go from Tony Romo to Dak to Trinidad would be amazing for me.
No, it wouldn't. No, it would suck.
For me, it'd be great.
I hope Trinidad sits behind like Mahomes for like 2 years, and
I love Justin Fields in Kansas City right now. Like I will be the last one on the Justin Fields train, man. I will be the last. I will careen off the ledge of the Justin Fields hype train fan club. Like, I love Justin Fields, and I just refuse to believe that he can't start in this league.
I'm in the same boat as you there. I feel like he'll have some kind of resurgence at some point.
At @SIP_90, have we heard back from the Deuce text yesterday? Yes, we did. We texted him during this show, and he said he will be on Thursday. He's got to be somewhere else tomorrow, and I told him I'll send him the link Thursday morning. So Deuce is supposed to be on Thursday with me and I guess Brad Logan, since Sudu won't, unless you want to do it with me. Brad already claimed it. He already said I want to do that.
I don't want to take that from Bradley, man. Brad puts in enough work, and I'll be there with you in person on Friday if you hold your end of the bargain on that one.
So yes, the running backs, like that shoulder issue or that shoulder injury was a problem for Keywan late. Man, it hurt.
Yeah.
I'll never
Yeah.
forget too. Like I was in the locker room after the Sugar Bowl, and we were talking to players, and Keywan walked up and he like kind of bumped me a little bit to talk to me, and we're just kind of joking. You know how I am. I'm very animated.
Yeah. Loud, as some have said.
So
yes.
I throw my arm around him. I'm patting him, all this stuff. And now, I'm always patting, Mark Henry, when I patted him on the back, the WWE Hall of Famer who I interviewed back in August. And I patted him on the back. He's like, Ben, you got to stop patting me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man. He's like, yeah, you got to remember too many bumps over. Well, Keywan did the same thing. He went like, right when I patted start, he went, he's like, no. It got like that thing was hurting him, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't really have viable alternatives. Like Logan Diggs did some good things.
Yeah.
But they didn't have true viable alternatives. Upside guys. Like, did you see what Logan Diggs, and this is not because I thought Damian Taylor was going to be some. But like Damian fumbled, got in Lane's doghouse, and it was a wrap. All right. But Damian and Logan Diggs both ran 4.7s at Ole Miss Pro Day. 4.7s. All right.
The amount of speed at the combine this year was nuts, man.
Nuts.
Truthfully.
And I'm not knocking them. Like 4.7 running back can still survive in the league. You've seen it before, but like this is very much a speed game. All right. Especially at that position, and running backs are dying. Right. It shows that Ole Miss was limited. Shakai Mills-Knight was not ready. I think Joshua Dye is ready. I think Frazier is ready. And I think JT Lindsey is hungry.
Yeah.
Shakai Mills-Knight ready. Because Shakai Mills-Knight, man, they love him. Still do. I talked to the coach who recruited him primarily a couple days ago. Yeah. And it was like, still, we love this kid. He just he's a true freshman, didn't know where he was doing. Like he's swimming mentally. And he's got all the physical tools. But like there are questions too. Does he run too high? Physically, is he too stiff? Or does he fit his profile physically? I'm not saying he's going to be, or that even remotely is in the same breath. But like if you're thinking, all right, Shakai Mills-Knight becomes the best version of himself, some variation of Derrick Henry, because he's that build. He's huge. Right? Mm-hmm. But he hasn't played that big yet, especially in college. And he was still very much learning football late in his high school career because he's a late starter to football. So, like, he's one I'm keeping an eye on because he's potentially the future. He could be the future. And if he isn't, that's 2 years in the system. And now every kid is essentially on a 2-year timeline. Same thing with Caleb Cunningham.
Sure.
Like, Caleb was awesome last year. I've talked about it here on Talk of Champions and more phone calls. Sorry. This one's spam. I want this 800 number keeps calling me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. But Caleb Cunningham, he was awesome all last year. I talked to him multiple times one-on-one, and both times I asked him about how his career went, this, that, and or how things were going, if he was fine. And both times when I asked him specifically, "Hey, you staying?" He said, "I'm not going anywhere." One, because he was signed to a multi-year contract, but two, Caleb Cunningham's a good kid that understood the assignment, understood that he got here a little late. This is his very first spring. Not being here for the spring last year set him back, especially when you had not just Harrison Wallace, not just Deshaun Stribling, but Traylon Ray at the time was having a great breakout spring. Like he was more than behind the 8 ball once he arrived in fall camp. Caleb best physically matches what DeJon Stribling offers as a football player than all the other receivers, including Jonte Cook and Darryl Gill.
Yeah, let's I guess pivot to receiver. You mentioned Caleb, obviously another kind of guy you want to develop because he came into your system out of high school.
I just think I think the world of that kid too, man. I think the world of that kid, and
Yeah, no, the hype was warranted coming in, and that's what we were kind of talking about in the last episode, right? Was the whole concept of bringing back freshman football, which surprisingly did really well. A lot of people seem to agree that might be a good idea, but this is where you mentioned Shakai Mills-Knight and Caleb Cunningham. Like, that's where I think those reps would benefit guys like that and allow them to develop just past a practice setting and actually get in-game reps. But the receiver room is really interesting because this is a big, like, you think they're going to be good based on previous production, but you truthfully don't know. Like, I love Deuce. I hope Deuce kind of takes that next step. But is Deuce truly a wide receiver one? We'll see. I love Darryl Gill and Jonte Cook. Both the kids from Syracuse I think are awesome. How does their game translate to a weekly SEC grind kind of schedule? They have a trigger man back there that can get them the ball, but how are they going to kind of, separate themselves as a couple really good receivers in the SEC? Who else am I missing? Horatio Fields from Auburn. Like is he going to take that next step? And I guess Wake Forest was really where he was kind of, at his best, right, before he went to Auburn. But then he got hurt. But what does Horatio Fields do? Out of all these kind of newcomers at receiver, Ben, the one that I love the most is Gill. And Cook is a very close second. I just love those Syracuse kids. But for you, who do you think is wide receiver 1 next year? And who's kind of – last year was the trio of Alexander, Wallace, and Stribling. Who do you think that's going to be this year?
Deuce Alexander, I think he's Hollywood Brown. Okay. I think he's Zay Jones. I think he's got that kind of potential. Got real speed, man. In terms of catch radius and contested catches, he's pretty special. He went over 600 yards. He's improved every single year he's been in college. I don't know where Joseph Moore put this up. Like Logan Diggs was live on another platform a couple of days before the Fiesta Bowl saying he was supposed to be RB1 and Keywan was supposed to be a wide receiver, but he got hurt, so that made Keywan blow up. Never heard that one. I would love to get the story behind that. Ask the people that, because I have not heard that. But like, of course, I don't think Logan's making that up. I would love to hear the story behind that. I don't know. That is very interesting.
Well, Logan's knee that injury was too much, right?
Yes. So I think Deuce Alexander is perfectly capable of wide receiver 1 production. Is he more, in my opinion, a wide receiver 2, especially at the next level? Yes. But I see Hollywood Brown. I see Zay Flowers. I see that kind of frame. The question is, I don't know. Daryl Gill's the one I'm most curious to see in the spring.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where he profiles. Is he an X or a Y, especially with what he's got around him in the Ole Miss wide receiver room? LaDainian Washington loves him some Jonte Cook. Like, Jonte was really immature back when he was a top-ranked high school kid and all this kind of stuff. Now he's a little bit he understands where he's at now.
Right.
It's the money year. It's the put up or shut up time. And
100%.
he proved it. He did the prove it year at Syracuse. Now it's the biggest level being that guy.
His ceiling to me, Ben, not to just cut you off, but it's his ceiling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the role he could play. He could be in the slot. He could be out at Y. For me, it's going to be Deuce Alexander if it's one of the 3. If you're making me answer one of the 3, which is a great way to frame it because we got a lot of positions to go and not much more time to do it. I would say Deuce Alexander, Jonte Cook. And I'm going to go just because I want it to happen. I'm going with Caleb Cunningham, folks. I want him to step up and do his thing, man.
Good, man. And that's the thing. Like, we're so reliant on the portal these days. That's why I didn't mention Chicago Mills night, because there's so much excitement of new coming in from other programs, of guys who have had experience or these big names coming from other programs. But you want your homegrown guys to pop off. So of course you want a Caleb Cunningham. My initial thing is just the 2 Syracuse receivers and Deuce. But I'm excited. I'm excited about Cam Miller. Like, what's he gonna bring?
My thing with Caleb is, if it's not now, then when? Then when? And so it's very important in that way. I really like what Ole Miss has at wide receiver. I would have liked to see one more. Mm-hmm. But yes, at Dirty Eater, Deuce Alexander did switch from number 11 to number 1. So Strib brought back the aura for the number 1 at wide receiver for Ole Miss. Deuce Alexander, I think he'll carry it just well. And if I'm picking the other 2 right now, I'm going to certainly say Jonte Cook. Caleb Cunningham, I'm probably getting out in front of my skis on.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could see a Cam Miller or Isaiah Spencer, one of those guys that don't have a lot on the resume yet, become a slot merchant, a catch merchant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with so much field stretching around them.
Yeah.
But Ole Miss lost his top 5, 4 of his top 5 pass catchers, including Daquan Wright.
Javon Campbell said, that to me, that has been my biggest fear for him, is I had such high hopes for Aiden Williams before he transferred, and I just hope to God that Caleb is not going to be, the same.
Same, and especially knowing what it means to him, and he's trying to do it right. So, rooting for that kid. That's why I'm going to put him there.
Okay,
but I don't feel great about it because I got to see it. I got to see it.
Right?
Because he didn't play. He did not play. Winnie Watkins played. But also, Winnie was one of Lane's guys. We're not getting into all that. All right, next.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to tight end next. We both love Phil Collins.
Lucas got to stay healthy.
Yeah, Phil Collins. If Phil Collins is healthy, we're going to feel it in the air all night, every night at the Vaught. Phil Collins is Lucas. For those who don't know, look it up. It's scary how similar they look.
Again, this is where if you prepared and you being the audio visual guy, you would have put the picture on the screen.
I have it somewhere on my computer saved of those two side by side. I don't know where it is though. It's in
all I know,
folders.
my man Lucas, dude, he don't care. Like I would say at that point when your hairline's running away from you, man, like you just got to bite the bullet and go full. But no.
I love it because to me that's the Brock Bowers thing. It's like these true ballers, man. They know they don't need any. They can just let it hang.
Yeah. So it starts with Lucas. He's got to stay healthy. After him, it's going to be a transfer. I mean, you could see one of Michael Smith. I think he best fits the profile of what's leaving in Daquan Wright.
I was going to ask you, do we get another South Carolina transfer that ends up becoming a game changer at tight end? Or what about young Prescorn? I get asked about Brady. That's his name, right? Brady Prescorn.
Prescorn. Sorry, 2023 Peach Bowl MVP, Caden Prescorn.
That's right. I get asked about Brady by a lot of people. Like, what do you think of the younger Prescorn kid? And I'm like, I personally haven't seen a lot of his tape. I don't know. Like, we'll see what he looks like in the spring. But
he's not as big. He doesn't have the same physical traits as Caden.
Yeah. The one solace, though, I will say, Benny, is JDB's background with tight ends.
Yeah.
And what he was able to do at ECU as well.
With the former Ole Miss Rebel and Javante Connor, who I thought might come back. He didn't. I like what they got. If Luke can stay healthy, I think that room will be just fine. If he doesn't, it becomes a question mark pretty quickly. I know they like Hayden Bradley, Caleb Odom's in that mix as well, but can Caleb hold up long term as a
Caleb Odom's the you want to talk about Caleb Cunningham and what he's going to be this year? For me, Caleb Odom's got to prove it too. Another highly touted guy.
Yeah,
and the question of like, is he a receiver? Is he a tight end? Like, know.
But like you can utilize them in both ways. But you need multiple guys, and I think Ole Miss has multiple candidates. I don't know who the guys yet are outside of Lucas when he's healthy. Yeah. Offensive line is very simple. You got 3 starting interior offensive linemen. Who you tackle is going to be. We already touched on that. And defensive line, we touched on that too. You've got some of the best returning production as far as quarterback pressures with Cam Franklin and William Eccles coming back. But as far as the defensive line is concerned, it's about the pass rush. You lost your sack leader in Prince Willie Monmielen, who you created, and now he's gone. Can Blake Purchase be another success story in the vein of Prince Willie Monmielen? Could a Renaud,
Jordan Renaud
from Alabama, who's more of an interior guy, could he give you some pass rush? Borio, I know they absolutely love. So, like for me, I think it's very obvious. William Eccles and Borio right beside each other to start. Like I would be shocked if anything else right there in the middle. And then 100%. Cam's on the other side. And then who's that is it Maldonado? Is it Blake Purchase? Any of these guys could be the guy. Centarian Perkins is gonna get his hand in the dirt a little bit more, especially.
Will you please ask the first question you get to ask defense, whoever, whether it's Golding or whoever else it is? Will you please ask if Sonny P will be rushing the passer primarily?
He's not going to be rushing the passer primarily. He's a linebacker because they're going to put you on the seat in the bus that you're going to they're trying to treat you fairly and equitably. It's like, it's about the we, yes, but like you're a linebacker at the next level. That's what everyone's saying. In this football factory that is football now, it's just a straight up manufacturing line, bro. Like, so he's been told, all right, he's a linebacker. He's a linebacker, but will he get more opportunities to snap? I
just am saying, I don't. I obviously I don't know as much as Pete Golding does when it comes to coaching a defense, but obviously I just wanted to say that in case somebody's like, you don't know. But my thing is,
we know that we both know we're not football experts here.
Right.
We're not.
But to see him be a primary pass rusher and put up the numbers he did versus primarily being in coverage, we saw kind of the drop off in production. I just want to know what the plan for him is and if we'll see him get back to the form we saw him a couple of seasons ago, because he didn't quite reach that a year ago, right? And I think that's
also
fair.
Had historic talent around him up front that freed him up to win one-on-ones. He was not the number one option. The number one, not like the first thing.
But that's what the portal was supposed to address this year, right? That's why Pete.
Sure, but did they do it adequately?
That is the question. You would assume, right? Like with the guys coming in, that there will be help. I don't think it's the way it was a season ago. I think you did bring in some proven production, or at least high ceiling guys coming in, right? So I'm just curious. I'm like, we know what Sonny P can do when he's primarily rushing the passer. Is that something that's going to be?
But when he was primarily rushing the passer, the calculus was a little bit different too. It wasn't just Walter Nolan. It was Princely Monmielen. It wasn't just Princely and Walter Nolan. It was Jared Ivey. All those guys are pros. Jared just won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. All right. Did they have that exact same kind of talent around him in those? Like, he still got pass rushing opportunities. Not to say he got enough. I agree. He didn't get enough. But he did get opportunities, and it was more muted production on top of fewer opportunities. He is a primary linebacker. I think with improved talent around him potentially, absolutely you can see his numbers go up. But as a lot of it, like as Princeville started to become a threat and command double teams, like Suntaran became the number one identifier on the defense. They went away from him. Offenses went away from him. Like, you avoid him, you're going to be all right. You know what I mean? And they did. So if that talent that they recruited to replace a guy that they built up in a year and sent off to LSU, then yes, like I could see it jump back to that. But he's never going to be a primary pass rusher ever again. He's always good. He's a linebacker. And like when you look in the pros, you know, he'll stand up. He might end up like Will Anderson as far as his size, but like he would have to gain a lot of weight. But like Will Anderson was considered undersized.
Yeah, I just, when you say he's a primary linebacker, I go 6'1", 210. His most productive seasons is really as an edge rusher.
And again, you completely dismiss everything else I just said. All right, so the secondary, we've touched on linebackers. Luke Farrelly,
not dismissing it.
Thomas, they replaced.
And they're fine at linebacker, too. Like, you know, between Thomas and Farrelly. But like, I think the Butler addition for depth is pretty good, too. I'm excited to see him. Yeah.
Yep, slept on. So that's it. I mean, I've already covered the secondary, cornerbacks. I mean, Jay Crawford, you need to come in and step in and start, but like you return your starting corners in Jalen Braxton and Antonio Kite. The safety question kind of answered straight up in the portal. I mean, you added not just your boy Jonel Aguero, but Edwin Joseph, Sharif Denson, Tony Mitchell from Mississippi State could play more of that star kind of linebacker safety position. You've got a lot of like that. They're settled in the secondary. They're pretty dead gum settled at linebacker, and they're pretty dead gum settled on the defensive line. That was the point of the portal. It course corrected after an all season last year, where Lane said, "Oh, we went 9-3 because I didn't have enough offensive weapons and spent double what they spent on defense," and it showed. Right. This year, you had to make up for that, along with some guys that had breakout years like William Eccles that were Pete guys. Like William Eccles is a Pete guy. Cam Franklin, Pete guy. Special teams, I agree with you, Sawyer. Our top tier right now. You return your All-American kicker and Lucas Quinero, a punter who's going to get all conference, if not national recognition, and Oscar Bird. You're replacing your snapper and Carter Short, but they love what they have coming back. I mean, they're fine. Special teams is elite. Like this team is built. That's why the 7.5. Lay your money down now, $100.
Yeah.
But like if you can lay down 100 to win 5,000 for Ole Miss right now, I would do it because this team from top to bottom, they have their questions, and I just hit on the most impressive ones: the edge rush, pass rush, and offensive line, the tackles. But like this team is built to contend again. I'm
still curious about the secondary. Like I love Crawford, love Edwin Joseph coming in, but you know, like. As far as pure pass, or not protection, but just defending the pass, still some to be desired there, in my opinion. You know how I feel about Janelle and his pass coverage. Hopefully you're using him more for run support, maybe rushing the passer, really hard hitter. What do you think of Tony Mitchell, by the way? A guy that we haven't really spoken much about.
Yeah, I just talked about him. I said he's going to play that linebacker safety star position. I don't think he's strictly a safety, or like he can play up on the line of scrimmage a little bigger. So I think that's where he'll be. But, oh, my guy, is this my guy Robbins? Robbins Rogers, let's hope Cunningham grows into Stribling with that frame. He's our physical option at 6'2", 200-plus, besides Horatio Fields, maybe Jace Matthews in a year. Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. And that's why. And it's funny because I know the coaches is a joke from them. They all get asked the same kind of questions. One of them is, so is Caleb Cunningham going to play this year? You know? Is it possible for you guys to go live during practice? We're not allowed to. Not allowed to. I would love to, but I could go live right after we watch practice, and it could be behind me. Like, you'll be able to hear it. They won't let you watch practice, no. But me and Brad Logan will be doing some live stuff on Friday, and apparently Sudu and I are going to be doing a show that morning. Now, listen, if they have practice at 10 in the morning on Friday, Sudu, like, we're going to have to adjust.
We'll have to readjust. I understand. Yeah.
You just go
I'm there for a wedding. If I wasn't there for a wedding and I was just there for like, just leisure, I would just make it work. But there's activities that's involved with that. So I'm
And,
not
and
as
look, we
flexible.
don't know. I'll be honest. I haven't heard from Pete Golding. I hadn't heard from Kyle Campbell. You know what I mean? Like, I think that a law is not allowed, but like, why not? So
My guess is it's going to be a
ask-
no based on previous precedent
Okay.
that's already been set on that regard.
I'm just saying, like, even if it's a no, like, okay, then what's the recourse? You know, why can't I just? But I'm not.
Should we go live from Ole Miss football practice on Friday while we preview LSU?
That would be hilarious.
Just have Pete join in the middle of it just to come talk to us.
Well, Pete's got a standing invitation on the spot, man, and he's not a big media guy. I would actually contend that, like, and I know he's gonna like they'll push back but like he might need to start warming up to the idea of being more of a media personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he's certainly hilarious. I mean,
hilarious.
anytime he speaks, I mean, you're entertained. It's a different kind of entertainment. It's not Lane Kiffin, but he's just so real. You know, he's so real. It's funny.
See, and when he starts being a little smart alecky, that's when he's really in his sweet spot. You know, I appreciate I'm a ball coach. Like, spot the ball. We're going to beat your ass. Like, I get it. Like, I love
Why do you think Saban loved the guy so much? Like, so people love clowning him.
Because he's just like him temperamentally.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, you know,
they care. I think it's genuine that they're players coaches. Right. I think it's and what I mean by it's not like now the difference is like Nick won an unprecedented level, but the standard is the standard. All right. This is how we do things here. But wait, I'm used to doing that. Okay, well, you're not going to fit here. No hard feelings. Deuces.
Right.
And if you're part of this program, all right, if you're part of this program, all right, and they say, all right, a lot. All right. You are going to be treated with respect, with love. You are going to be treated like they take it seriously. Your development into a professional football player in this big monster corporation that is Alabama in the case of Saban and Ole Miss, now in the case of Pete Golding. Now, all coaches from the Saban tree are from the Saban tree. So either they're a poor imitation or they haven't accomplished what he accomplished. So you're all going to compare it to that. But that's what they learn. That's what they know. And Nick Saban only like late in his life has become really a media personality doing the Aflac commercials and all that kind of crap and doing the game days and all that. Right. Pete Golding is just like Nick Saban temperamentally. Why do you love him so much? Because they were the same. But I think Pete's going to learn pretty quickly, like Nick, like how to really take it from one level to right now. He's focused on one level, winning, truly winning.
Yeah.
And when you establish the winning, then you can branch out and turn it into something even more. And that's where you'll see him come out a little bit, come out of his shell, I think. And he knows he can come on this podcast anytime, but that's why I love them. They're the same kind of person, dude. They talk the same. They act the same. All right. Saban didn't always love the press. Absolutely right. Go to hell, LSU.
Yeah.
Didn't at all. But
no doubt.
It was business. You know what I mean? And if you're going to be a part of this, he did do the campfire with Chris Beard. That was fun. And he let his hair down. It was great. And people ate it up.
Yeah.
So I think more would be good for him.
He just feels like one of the guys.
He's one of the dudes. And embrace it. Like, you know what I mean? No, you're not going to be walking out with Morgan Wallen, you know, with your backwards hat on at 50, says the fat guy who wears backwards hats at 40. But
he could. It's just Lane's an oddball. Like he's a great defense or great offensive mind, great coach, but he's an odd dude. Like he's just, you know, he's your quirky friend.
Aren't we all?
Sure we are. My point is Lane's kind of your quirky friend. Pete's the guy that you're like you want around. You know what I mean? He's just real as hell. He may not talk too much, but when he talks, everyone listens.
He's the dude like in what's that movie, The Town, where Jeremy Renner's sitting in there and Ben Affleck goes, I can't tell you anything. I'm not telling you where we're going, what we got to do. We just got to hurt some people. I need you to come with. And then no questions asked. He said, whose call are we taking?
Yep.
Pete's one of them kind of guys. All right.
Right.
All right. So like
this is hilarious,
guy,
Sawyer. With crush beers with Pete, but Lane would complain his hands were dirty. Yeah.
Sawyer Wheatley won 1983 would crush beers with Pete Golding with crawfish, but Lane would complain his hands were dirty. And again, I'm more the hands is dirty guy. Like I don't love crawfish and stuff, but I know that I want Pete on my side when I go to Death Valley. Like the guy like whose car we taking is the guy I need because I understand Lane because we're very similar. Right. You know? I just try to not be a dick anymore.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go.
All right, we got to end it. So overall, our questions on offense, obviously, tackle spot is a big one, and tight end somewhat. I think losing the production of Daquan. Everywhere else you have depth at least. Defense, it's going to be your edge rushers. For me, I have trust issues with the secondary always. Until you show me that you're capable of like really being an elite secondary, I'm always going to have questions about it. You got weapons on weapons in the SEC running around. You got Cam Coleman getting paid $3 million. Like, I have trust issues, obviously, about the secondary. So for me, it's the secondary edge rushers on defense. On offense, it's offensive tackle, and that's, like I said, tight end, I think, would be the other one. So that's our Ole Miss spring preview. Of course, you can follow all the latest Ole Miss news on the Ole Miss Spirit. Follow Ben Garrett for that, or you can scan that QR code and sign up today if you're not already a member. Of course, you can follow Ben at Spirit Ben on Twitter. Follow me at Sudo TV on all platforms, Mudcat Media as well. Give me some parting words before we go, Benjamin.
Be kind. As Weird Al Yankovic said on Stephen Colbert's show, be kind. 5 words to describe his life, and I loved it. I was like, that's it. Be kind, bring joy, repeat.
And that's facts. We'll see y'all on Friday, hopefully live with Benny G.